a speed painting or okay, just a minute. I'm coming back. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Something came up, and then I don't know, it went off. Okay.
Ma'am, just don't worry about that. That is basically it's getting live streamed.
Yeah.
So that is the thing.
So
Just
I
ignore
wanted
that.
to
You just click.
got it, and then by mistake I selected that leave meeting, and sorry. Okay. So what I was saying, yeah, and it's a little bit slow medium. It takes some time, especially if you want to do realism. You need to add in a lot of layers. So what we usually used to do, maybe as kids, was we used to just cover up everything. There's adult coloring books or florals, etc. Not that way. So realism takes a little bit time, and there are. Ma'am, should we take half or full paper? Half paper is fine, Dikshita. It takes a little bit time. So I think that's an added advantage as well, because now you want everything is happening so quickly. This is the age of reels, shorts, everything. People have no time. They just keep swiping everything. This helps you slow down a bit. At least for me, I feel after starting colored pencils, I've slowed down a bit. My mind is calmer, and it lets you enjoy the process. It makes you more patient as well. A vertical or horizontal, that's fine. Anything. I will come back to that. So you will have time. Don't worry. Okay. So I think that's enough about that. The introduction part about the materials. I will tell you. So while I talk, since we can save some time, so you can do the initial sketch, and then I'll tell you about the materials. So this is the drawing that we're going to do. Okay, I'll be turning off this front-facing camera because I want to focus on the other one. Okay, but I'll be here in the end. I'll turn it on again. Okay. So this is the one.
Mita ma'am, I'm so sorry to interrupt. Just a second, if I could just take the confirmation from everybody, if everybody can just see your screen clearly.
Okay.
So guys, can you all see ma'am's screen clearly? Everyone just could let me know in the chat box quickly. Yes, because a lot of you are actually telling me that you are unable to see. Okay, great. Okay, ma'am, you can please proceed.
Okay, just give me a second. I'll just let me know in the chat box any questions, or if you want me to zoom it more. Maybe when we are drawing, actually, I'll try to zoom it a little more. So this is the drawing that we will be doing. So you can do a sketch, a very rough sketch like this one. So not too big. So someone was asking me half a sheet. Half a sheet is enough. So either way, landscape mode or portrait mode, whichever is comfortable for you. So I will just, don't spend more than 2-3 minutes on this sketch. I will do a very rough sketch here as well, so that you can also do it. I've already sketched it out, but for your understanding, I'm going to do it again here. Okay, and while I do this, I'll talk about the materials as well. So just keep in mind, just look at the proportions here. So the green part, so is actually half. This part is half of this part. So if this is x, consider this as 2x. So that's the only thing you need to keep in mind, and not a very big sketch because we want to finish it in time. So just do, okay, I'll draw it darkly. You can draw it much lighter because we don't want the pencil lines to show up when we color. Since I want you to see this, I'm drawing it a bit dark. So I'm not drawing very neatly. You can draw it more neatly. I just want you to see this is the way. So this part. So when I'm drawing this almost like twice this. So maybe till here. And as it comes down here, it's getting a little curvy. That's it. And you can even mark, you can see a highlight part here. So you can mark this out because we want to understand where is the highlight. Here and here, this part as well, if possible, when coloring, try to leave this white. Else, I'll tell you what to do. I'm going to add with the gel pen. I'll show that later. And the shadow part also, you can just roughly mark it out. So I've kept both the reference. Actually, for realism, we use a photograph as a reference. But since here, it's difficult to send the photo to each one of you, and if I show it, it's not very clear. So I've drawn it out, and we'll consider this to be a reference. Otherwise, it's better you use an actual photograph for your reference. Yeah, which brand? I will come to that. Which color pencils are you going? Okay. Okay. So please sketch it out in maybe 2 minutes time. So until then, I'll talk about the questions. These materials. I can see a lot of questions popping up. Yeah. So we have two types of color pencils: wax based and oil based. Okay. So both are good. I'm not telling wax based is better or oil based. Not going to do that comparison. It depends what kind of drawing you're going to do. Some drawings are best done with wax based and some oil based, and sometimes you can use a combination. Sorry. So it's classified that way based on the binder that holds the pigment. So if it's an oil-based binder, then it's oil-based pencil. If it's a wax-based binder, wax-based pencil. So, and regarding paper, what kind of paper you need to use is preferably a paper with a slight texture or tooth. So not a very, very smooth paper or not too rough. So some watercolor papers come like the cold pressed watercolor paper, they're quite rough. It will be difficult to get a smooth blending with color pencils on those paper. So slightly textured paper, maybe a good quality, if you're a beginner, maybe a very good quality cartridge paper you can use. And there are specific I was expecting bird drawings. No, actually, this it's mentioned that in the demo we will be doing a realistic chili drawing. Bird is actually a very very advanced. So once you're comfortable with all this, only then we can go for birds. So on day one, it's not possible to draw birds. You need to understand the basic techniques, how to blend. So practice still life, and once you're confident for this, you can go for bird drawings. Also, bird drawings take a lot of time. You in maybe in 1 minute you can just finish the beak or the eye of the bird. I'm sorry, in 1 hour. So this one we will surely finish it today. Okay, coming back. So that's it about the paper and brands. So you can for the purpose of this session, you can use any brand or any paper that you have, because as you can see, it's a simple drawing and not too complicated and not too many colors. So if you have a basic set and a paper, you can use it. So the paper, otherwise, like I suggest a paper about 160 GSM. So this is actually the weight of the paper. Since we add in a lot of layers, it's preferred that you have a good quality paper. Otherwise, you will notice the paper won't take in a lot of layers. It will just start breaking, or it starts getting slippery. And there are different brands. So we will not go into that detail right now. Maybe in the masterclass, I'll explain all those in detail. You can use anything for this class. Otherwise, there are different brands. If you're a little serious and you want to practice more of colored pencils, I would suggest go for a mid-range brand. Don't go for very, very inexpensive ones. If you're a student, because I see there's a child, Prisha, I think. So if for her it's fine, like they are just learning, so they can use anything, any beginner brands. But if you want to take it as a profession, or if you want to teach, or if you want to draw very detailed works and post it up on your page, go for a mid-range brand. May not be very professional, but slightly better brand that makes a lot of difference. So for this class, I'm going to use this one. Just for this one, this is the Derwent Chroma Flow set of 24. These are wax-based pencils. And these, I can say, they are mid-range ones. So I'm not going to use any of my professional pencils here. And I selected a smaller set because I'm sure, you guys also would be having a set of 12 or 24. So I decided to use this one. Okay, and your one thing to remember is your pencils need to be sharp. So otherwise, it's difficult to cover the tooth of the paper. The white part just shows up. Keep your pencils sharpened. And I'm going to draw it on a watercolor paper. This is a hot pressed watercolor paper. So hot pressed watercolor paper works well for colored pencils because it has a slightly, it's almost a smooth surface, little bit of texture. So you can use that. Okay. So before I start coloring, I'll tell you what kind of techniques we are going to use. So suppose, one second, I'll turn on the light. Which brand paper? Anything for now. I am using the Derwent watercolor paper. This is the Derwent watercolor paper that I am using. So just imagine you're going to color the small section. So don't do it this way, like in one go, don't press too much and try to finish it. Don't do it this way. You will not get a even layer, or your drawing starts looking flat. Okay, name of the pencil. I will come back. Maybe when I'm drawing, I will talk about brands. Okay. And so, okay, I was saying how to color. So what we do is you can hold the pencil like this with the first two fingers and the middle finger here. So it's kind of resting on this finger. I'll show it again like this. So hold it up. If you're not able to hold it this way, okay. How can we differentiate between oil or wax based? It will be written on the tin. You will know which is oil based or which is wax based. Most of the pencils that you find in the market are all wax based. Very few oil based pencils we have. That is, one is the Faber-Castell Polychromos and the Derwent Lightfast. They are the best oil based pencils, but little bit expensive if you don't want to spend much, but they are a very good investment. So wax based you'll find a lot: Prismacolor, Derwent, Brustro. So you can check all those brands. What's the difference? Yeah, as I told you, it's the binder that holds the pigment together. Some of the binders are wax based. They are wax based. Wax based pencils are much softer and more opaque, whereas oil based pencils are a little harder. You will get a very sharp point with oil based pencils, and you can add in a lot of details, like fine details with them. So both have their own, pros and cons. So hold it a little up. If you hold down, what happens is you tend to exert a lot of pressure. Don't hold it like this, like how you hold it to write. So you will get very uneven strokes if you hold it down. So hold it a little up so that we can control the pressure. And if I, just an example, if I want to color this box with very less pressure, I'm adding one layer, and your hand needs to move like this. Try to move your entire arm and like this, like a circular motion. Like this. So since we are going for a smooth blending here, we're not going to do hatching, cross hatching and all that. Try to make uniform circular strokes like this. Small or big circular strokes is fine. So you need to add at least 3 to 4 layers with very less pressure. Don't press hard at all. Okay, that's why I told it will take a little bit of time. But if you do this, then you will get realistic results. As you can see, I've added many layers, but I've not pressed it yet. So now I feel like almost okay, I've colored it enough. And but still you can see there are some white spaces left. So to fill it up, what we do is we do burnishing. So what is burnishing is you're going to apply a lot of pressure and kind of, grinding onto the paper and bringing in all the layers together. That will give you a smooth effect. And keep in mind, once you burnish, you cannot add more layers after that, because after burnishing, the tooth of the paper gets flattened and it's very difficult to add more layers. So do burnishing in the very end. So now I'm applying more pressure, and you can hold it a little down as well now if you want. And now I'm going over this entire thing. And in case you feel, since I'm using circular motion, but I'm following this direction. So in case you feel like you can see some strokes here, uneven strokes on this direction, you can burnish in the perpendicular, in the opposite direction. You can burnish. So that will flatten up everything and you will get a very smooth layer. So you can see the difference. If I were to do it in just one layer with a lot of pressure, how, messy it looks. But here it looks very even. It looks like I've painted it. Okay. So this is the technique that we will be following here. So you can just lighten up your sketch if you haven't. So okay. I'm going to keep it up here on the left side for you to refer. So if you have say a pink in your set, okay, you can take that. A pink or maybe an orange, because we are going from light to dark always. So if you can see, I can see some orangish layer here. So I have a kind of a blush pink in the set. So it's okay if you don't have this exact shade, something similar, or maybe at least an orange. So you can pick that color. And the first layer is going to be, just a second, I'll turn on the light. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, first I'm just marking out, because I've lightened it up so much. I want you to see this. Lightly, I'm just marking it out so that I know where is the outline. Need not do this part because I want you to see this clearly. I'm doing that. Now, I'm going to add a very light layer, like how I told that time. You can leave this part white. We will come back to the highlight part in the end. So just like I did that time for that square, but the difference is here I'm doing for the entire this red chili with less, very light pressure. So I'm following this direction, the direction of this object, but I'm still using some circular motion. Okay, I'm not doing standing or sleeping lines. Don't do that. Try to keep on rotating your pencil. So first layer, you can just add a pink or an orange. Actually, I'm going to add a layer of orange on top of this. I'm going to use both the colors. And here, the white part, if you want, you can, if possible, you can leave with white. This part, I have actually added it with a pen in the end. Okay, so one layer is enough here and a little bit here. Then I'll take what color you are doing. This was pink and now I'm taking orange. Again, on top of the pink, I'm adding this orange. Again, with less pressure, same way how I colored with the pink. So you need to observe your reference image. If you want to do realism, spend some time and observe your reference image, what colors you can see. So just because it's actually, I'm not going to take a red pencil and color it out fully. I'm going to add different colors and then only it will get that depth or the realistic effect. Which pencils are better? That depends how much you're willing to spend on your pencils. So as I said, for mid-range pencils, like maybe 1,000, 2,000, if you're willing to spend, you can go for Brustro or Derwent or Prismacolors. Maybe it has a smaller set for that range. More expensive professional ones, if you want, you can go for Faber-Castell or bigger set of Prismacolor, or Derwent has an expensive range as well. Anything. Okay, then you can take a red. This is scarlet in this set. It could be named anything in your set. The namings will be different. Don't worry of it about that. So it's a red. Actually, I'm going to use two reds. So this is a little lighter red. So I'm going to add red again on top. So this portion, middle portion where it looks a kind of glowy, it has this orange undertone. You can leave that part and color around it. With sharpener, yes, I actually use a professional sharpener, this kind. So that's how I get such a sharp lead. You can use a normal that handheld sharpener. You usually get a metal one. You can use that as well. So with that, you will not get a very sharp point. Even if you get, after some time, it starts getting blunt. So for you guys, I think that sharpener is fine. A normal handheld sharpener. Or else even you can use a cutter. Once show, yeah. So this is called a helical sharpener. So we put the pencil here and then we rotate this. So if for the master class, if anyone is enrolling, then I will definitely give out all the details. Like I will send a separate document, what brands, different, like several options, different brands of pencils or paper, which one is needed. So those details will be given in the in the master class. For this session, it's like we have limited time. Just talking about the materials would take 1 hour. So I need to cover a lot in 1 hour. So I'm just giving you a brief about the materials, not going into too much technical details. So I'm adding red here as well, towards the, what can I say, the base. So actually I'm going to keep on repeating this later. So now I just added one layer. Now I'm taking a darker red. Ma'am will, no, I don't think there will be a recording of this class. You will have a recording for the master class, but not this class, I think. So I'm taking a darker red. And again, I'm going over, just leaving the middle part here. I'm not coloring that. But everywhere else, you can use this darker red if you have. So suppose in your set, whatever you're using today, there is only one red, say. Use the same red again, maybe with a little more pressure because you want a darker tone. Since I have another red, I'm using that. This part, we'll do it in the end. I'm not going to leave it blank white, but I'll do something I'll tell you in the end. Okay. So now I want to mark it out it's much darker here. If you can see this reference carefully, it's a lot darker here, right above this reflected part. It's a lot darker here, a little darker here as well. So to get that dark tone, I'm going to use this magenta. So if you have a similar shade, like a magenta or maybe a burgundy shade in your set, you can use that. So here, one layer of this right above this white part to get a darker tone. Also here at the bottom, with I can say medium pressure, not very light, but not very, I'm not pressing at all. So when you add more layers, say after 3-4 layers, you can slowly build up the pressure. You can add a little more pressure after 3-4 layers, but the first 2-3 layers at least, try to not exert a lot of pressure. So I wanted to darken it a little more. So I'm going to use, this is called a resin, like this is like a reddish brown, I can say. I'm sure all the sets would have that color, like a reddish brown or maybe a maroonish brown. Here, I want to darken it up here and here as well. So if I were to add this color directly, then it will definitely look brownish here. So what I did was I added a lot of reds, and then on top of it, just to get a darker tone, I'm adding this color. So now I just have like, a basic, this one. I know this is the light, mid tone, and then we have a dark tone here, we have a light tone, we have the highlight, etc. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to repeat whatever I did till now. So again, you can take your orange or a pink, and again, you can add a layer of it. It's okay if you add again on top of red, won't make a difference. So now I want to layer. Basically, I'm repeating the same steps again, go from light to dark. So first I'm adding this orange and pink as well, because it's not exactly orange. So I'm going to mix it up with pink. So if you feel it's looking too orangish, you can take a red and add very lightly on top of it, because I feel it looks too orange here. I'm going to add a red. So you can take the lighter red if you have, then add it here. So now you can add a little more pressure now. So another layer of red throughout, except maybe very lightly here. As I said, which brand, I cannot pinpoint one particular brand. There are different brands based on your budget. Go for a mid-range brand. Maybe Derwent. Derwent has a lot of, mid-range, not very expensive, but not very cheap either. Derwent or Brustro or Prisma Color, if you can afford, or Faber-Castell Polychromos. So these are some of the brands. Or maybe Stedler. With color pencils, the more expensive it is, you will get better quality. So professional pencils are quite expensive, but they last longer and you will get good results very quickly compared to if you use a very inexpensive brand. I'm not saying you can't draw realistic objects with the cheaper brands. You can do it. It will take some time, and a lot of skill to do that. Also, the end result may not look as vibrant as this because they will be less pigmented. Of course, since they are charged, much lower, they will not be as saturated as these. So don't get disappointed. Just learn the techniques. Even if you have a inexpensive brand now, then learn the techniques with them. Then now again, I'm taking a darker red. So especially here at the edges, here and here, I'm adding this. Ma'am, where are you from? I'm actually from Udupi in Karnataka, but for the past few years, I'm staying in Bangalore. So I'm going to take the magenta again. Which pencils? This is the Derwent Chroma Flow set of 24 that I'm using for this drawing. Now actually I'm applying a little bit of pressure because I'm coming towards the end of this part. So if you want to darken it up even more here, I think it's not needed. Little bit of brown I will add. So now I'm going to burnish this. As in I want to, I've almost got a smooth blend. So what happens if your pencils are of very good quality, automatically everything will blend on its own. I don't use any blender, or I don't even, you can also go over with a white pencil to blend everything if you wish. So I don't use that because it dulls down the drawing, and then again you'll have to add another layer. So I'm going to use the first color. So usually I burnish with the lightest shade. So you can take the pink, or if you don't have that, you can take the orange, or even you can use a white. But if it dulls down any part, you can again go over with red on top, no problem. So I'm applying a lot of pressure and kind of, imagine you're going to seal this entire thing. So after this, I'm not able to add much layers. So I'm going to add wherever I feel it has white spaces, and just pressing it and making it smooth. I'm going to add a little more of red here. So now it's just you need to check the reference and add in whatever colors you feel is needed. I think it's enough. This part, what I'm going to do, it's not exactly white. You have some pinkish, or orangish reflection. So a very light layer of pink I'm going to add here. Here, this entire stretch. Very light, maybe 1 or 2 layers is enough, lightly. Or if you don't have a pink, you can add a light layer of red. And after that, you can take a white pencil, kind of smoothen it out. So instead of leaving it blank white, I'm actually mixing it up with, now on top of white, you can even add pink or red again, because it's not that white as well. It has a reddish tinge to it. Okay, so just imagine, like by mistake or some, it's very difficult to leave this tiny white spaces. So just think I accidentally colored this Okay, what would I do? But I actually need a white highlight here. So what would I do is, you can take a white gel pen. You will get this. This is a Sakura, I think Sakura brand. You will get this jelly roll. This is called a jelly roll pen. So you can add, so you will get a much brighter highlight with these. So even like if you were to draw water drop or something, some citrus fruit for all the highlights, this comes in very handy. So I got a very nice highlight with this. Yeah, it's a white gel pen. Okay. Now, for this part, so this part. So we are not going to directly add green. So you can take a lemon yellow if you have in your set, or for that matter, any yellow. So in this set, there's only one yellow, and I'm going to use, this is called a sun yellow. Any yellow is fine. Don't use a much darker yellow, something lighter yellow. So just a base layer, like a first layer of yellow. So usually when we draw leaves or all these greenish objects, we start with yellow and then light green and then dark green. So just one layer, that's it. Then you can take a light green. Can you just repeat? Okay, once again. Can you just repeat the layers of colors you have used in the starting? Okay. Okay, so yeah. Yes, thanks, Ayushi. Yes, I used pink and orange and then two reds. So if you don't have a pink, use an orange. If you have, then use both pink and orange. Then I have two reds in the set, a lighter one and a darker one. So for that, and for this darker part, what I used a magenta and a reddish brown. So even if you have only magenta, that's also fine, or only brown, that's also fine, because I want to get a darker part here. So I use those colors. So for this, thank you, Kripa. Now I'm going to use a green, a light green. This is a grass green in this set. Any light. So if you notice, okay, actually I'm going to add entirely. Maybe because it's has some kind of a highlight here, little lightly here at this part, and then again here. Here you need not do that uniform circular motion, what I was telling, because it's a different kind of texture. The stock has some kind of rough lines here and there, so it's not very smooth like this one. So you can just draw lines like this. And after that, you can take another green if your set has. So I'm going to use this green and another green. This is kind of a middle green, darker than this, but this is not a dark green. So here at the tip, and I'm just marking these lines like this. And here, some strokes here. Okay, and now you can take a darker green. To dark borders, you did circular motion. Which one? Can you like rephrase your question? Here I have not. You can use here. I used a little bit of circular motion, but here it's a tiny area. It's difficult. I just added lines like this. So here also I want it darker here. Just adding lines in the direction of the object. So you don't add like this, right? It does not make sense. The object is going in this direction. We don't add this lines here. I'm using this side. Can you repeat which pencils? Yes, I'm using this one. The Derwent Chroma Flow set of 24. So in case you're planning to buy this one, you can wait. They are going to release a set of 72 as well. Or if you want a bigger set, you can check for Brustro. They have a set of 72, and it's not very expensive also. You can check those as well. A lot of artists, especially beginners, use that. So it depends what pencils you get comfortable with. Maybe some pencils work well for me, but someone else may not like it. Okay, so after this green, if you want even more darker, I think I've already got a dark enough in case. So whenever we use green, you can combine a blue with it, a dark blue, like a Prussian blue or this is denim, this kind of blue. You can combine a blue with a dark green to get a dark tone here and here. Not too much, just I'm just demonstrating that in case not needed. And then I'm taking a brown. Which paper? I'm using a watercolor paper. This is the Derwent hot pressed watercolor paper. So I'm taking a brown here, a very dark brown, not a reddish one, but a dark brown, this kind. Here and here, little bit of brown. Wherever I want a darker tone. And maybe I'll take the yellow again. And here I'll just add another layer here. I want it to look kind of glowy here. That's it. Okay. And for the shadow part, what we will do, you can take a gray, any gray that comes in your set. This set has only one gray. I'm using that gray. So here you need not do very smooth blending for the shadow part. You can do it a little roughly. I'm just marking it out. So don't press too much with medium pressure because here I'm not going to add too many layers for the shadow. Just one or two layers. Quickly, I'm going in this direction. Still, I'm moving using maybe a larger circular motion, almost like an oval, you can say. That kind of strokes I'm using here. So you can even rotate your book however it's comfortable. So ideally, I would spend a little more time on this one. Now, maybe in 45 minutes or so, I'm finishing. I would spend double the time, 1.5 to 2 hours. Then you will actually get a flawless, a very realistic finished drawing. But here, I'm doing it a lot quicker. So after this one, okay, thank you, Farida. And Vritti, for the highlights, can I use pen corrector? Yes, I think you can use that. Yes. You can also use a white pencil, but usually the white pencils don't work much. If you're already colored, they don't show up much. Even white paint, etc., they just get scraped off easily. So you can use a white brush pen or a corrector or a gel pen. So now if you notice this one, the shadow has a little bit of reflection from this stock, little bit of green part here, and a little bit of red here near the base. So if you observe always, whenever an object casts a shadow, right at the base, it's going to be a lot darker and then it gets lighter. So if the shadow is here, you will have a highlight in the opposite direction. So so it's important to know light and shadow. Like we will cover all that in the master class, but now we just keep in mind that here we have some reflected light. So you can take a green, a lighter green, and lightly here, just here, very with the light hand. Okay, enough. That's it. Just to show that something is getting reflected here. And then you can take a red, a little darker red if you want, and throughout here, little bit here. I'm going to add. Don't press too much. Don't make it. Just Thank you, Krupa. I'm glad it was informative. Thank you, Sajna. Okay, that's it. So I've just drawn it roughly. You can draw it even more neater here, the shadow part. So that